Hello again, this is Rob Chadwick from ADL. This is the second in a quick series of videos that aims to help you get started with navigating the Virtual World Framework Sandbox Applications interface. So in the previous one we logged in, we created an avatar, and we saw how to kind of move around the space with the camera. Our next step is going to be to look at how to kind of manipulate objects. So I'm going to select objects, deselect objects, and move, rotate, and scale objects. And to start, I guess I'm going to have to create an object. We'll do that in the simplest way possible for now. First of all, I'm going to transition back into the orbit camera. From our previous lesson, you should know how to kind of move this camera around space. I'm going to create a sphere right at my feet. In fact, a couple of spheres, so that I have something to work with when we look at the selection tools. I'm going to hit this button right here, and this button is the Create Sphere button. It will create a sphere right at the center of my view, wherever that is. If it intersects with another sphere, it'll be on top of the first. I'm going to move around space a little bit using the middle mouse button and create myself several spheres. Great. So I've got a bunch of them here. And I'm just moving the camera just like we did in the previous lesson. Let's look at selection. Currently, we're using the right mouse button for pretty much everything, except of course the left mouse button for clicking on the buttons up here on the toolbar. The right mouse button and the center mouse button and wheel, all are reserved for camera motion. The left mouse button, you'll notice, is not used in camera motion at all. That's because we reserve it for interacting with objects in the world. When I click, and I'm clicking the left mouse button now, I don't know if you can hear the chick, chick, chick when I click it, you'll notice that nothing is happening. In this mode, we're actually injecting events into the simulation, but nothing in the simulation responds to events, so nothing's happening. If I want to select and manipulate objects, I have to grab the selection mode. So if you look here where my cursor is, you'll see select by clicking. If I turn that on, and then I click with the left mouse button on an object, you'll see all kinds of stuff happens. There's a bounding box. There's some kind of crossbar here on the screen. This is the selected object. Let's go ahead and look at this tool. By default, the tool that's on the screen is the Move gizmo. It allows you to click with the left mouse button and drag along one of these axes to manipulate the object. So now I'm pushing this object around on this green one is usually the y-axis, or I can grab it on the x-axis. I can also grab the little plane handle in the center and move it on two axes at the same time. Alright, so I've selected an object. How do I deselect an object? Well, the button next to select is select none. This deselects the objects, and you'll notice this selection button turned back to white instead of blue. That means that I'm not in selection mode anymore, so I can't select objects. Let's go back to selection mode. In this case, I select the object again. To select a different object, as long as I'm still in selection mode, I can just click on the other objects. I can also click with the left mouse button and drag to make this bounding rectangle. When I let go, all of the objects that intersect the rectangle are selected. So in this case, you should see 3 different wireframe bounding boxes. And in this case, the Move tool locates itself at the center of the objects. And if I grab this tool, I can slide it around. I just did something there I didn't explain. Let me do it again. If I hold Control on the keyboard, I press Control, you'll see you get this little kind of plus icon. This allows me to individually click objects. And if I click and drag a rectangle and there's nothing in it, it'll deselect. So I'm still in selection mode. I can click one at a time rather than making a rectangle, and as long as I'm holding Control on the keyboard, I can add objects to my selection, and you can see all of these are selected. You'll also note if I click on nothing, it doesn't deselect. I have to click on a single object to select a single object, or to deselect, I have to click and drag a rectangle that contains nothing. Also, I can deselect by just using the Select None button up top, but that will remove me from selection mode. One final thing I can do, since I'm adding to selection by holding Control, is I can hold Alt, and you'll see you get this little kind of minus sign, this no. This will allow me to subtract objects from the selection set one at a time. So, holding Control, I'm adding selections. Holding Alt, I'm deselecting one at a time. Something that does not currently work, just to be aware of, I cannot region deselect. I can't hold Alt and then make a rectangle. Ideally, this would deselect both of these two objects that it's intersecting. Oh, I guess it did. Oh, maybe that does work. All right, so select two objects. Let's try to deselect these three at the top. Alt, click and drag, deselect. Oh, that works exactly right. So let's Control, reselect just these two. Perfect. Perfect. So I guess we did get that fixed. So that's it. That's it for this lesson. Very quick, very simple. You saw how to create a sphere, and we'll talk at other lessons much more about creating objects and manipulating objects. You saw just the very basics of the movement tool, and you saw the Alt key to select the Control key to add to selection, the Alt key to subtract from selection, and the region selection works exactly the same. You can click and drag to select several.